Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to Beijing. Yin and I and the whole family arrived here late last night and we were in a traditional Hutong, living traditional Chinese styles. Over here you got mum and dad's room. Hey mum.
Hi.
There's Yin's dad. Hey dad.
Hi.
This is their room.
Hi, good morning.
And over here, Yin and my room. Hey Gee.
Morning.
As you can see, Yin and I both have our all black skis on.
Go all black.
And we've just had breakfast. So excited for this city. There's so many things that we're gonna see and do while we're here. Number one being the Great Wall of China, which is what we're doing today. So see you there.
We're here at the Great Wall of China. You can even see it right behind me already. There's a few different sections for it, and we're at Mutianyu. The other one is called Badaling, and that one's apparently even more touristy than this part. We're here on a Monday, so it is still crowded, but hopefully a bit less so. It's quite amazing to finally be here. It's one of those life bucket items of ours after having read so much and learned so much about the Great Wall. Can't wait to go check it out. So tickets are 180 per person. That includes the entrance fee, a short shuttle bus ride, and then a cable car ticket too. Our cable car ticket takes us up to Watchtower number 6. There's another one that goes up to Watchtower 14, but this number 6 apparently has better views. It's more scenic, so it's also an easier walk for our parents. Turns out it was actually an open chairlift, not a closed cable car. So when our parents got to it, they were a bit surprised, but they're fine, they're on the seats okay.
Yeah, it was a 40-minute wait just to get onto this thing, so it took quite a while.
Apparently when you come back down, you can either take the toboggan or you can take the cable cars, and there should be no queues for the cable cars because most people will take the toboggan.
But we're gonna go with the cable cars because
Yeah.
whatever chance we get to see a Great Wall, we're gonna take it.
Yeah, that's right.
About to take the ascent over to Watchtower number 1, which will give us a great panoramic view of all the other watchtowers. It's also good to know that the Beijing portion of the Great Wall is probably the best preserved in most of China.
Back in the day, you had men who would man these walls and then return to those watchtowers to sleep and eat. Weaponry, armor was also kept back there too.
This is one of Yin and myself's top bucket list item things to do. Can't believe we're finally here. This entire stretch lasts for about 10,000 miles or 21,000 kilometers. Can you believe the engineering that would have had to have gone on 2,000 odd years ago to make this happen?
From Watchtower 1, you can see the wild parts of the wall where you can't walk there anymore because all the trees has grown over it. It took about 1 million laborers to build this incredible wall. And it was everything from civilians to soldiers and criminals. No women though, but there is a really famous legend, and that's about a lady who got married and only 3 days later her husband was forcibly taken to build this wall. And she missed him so much she decided to go visit him, but unfortunately when she got to the wall she found out that her husband had passed away and he was buried within the wall itself. She was so distraught and upset that she cried and wept for days. Eventually made the wall collapse and her husband's bones were revealed.
Truly one of the greatest experiences I think I've ever done. Mainly because Qin Shi Huang was one of my favorite historic figures. The Great Wall is part of my ancestry, and just to be able to touch it, it's just, I don't know, it's just a really amazing experience for me. Do you all enjoy the Great Wall of China?
Yay! We got certificates! And next up we are headed over to the Sacred Road.
And the Sacred Road protects the 13 emperors of the Ming Dynasty who are buried here.
All over.
Here.
All of this.
Everywhere?
All of
The sun is setting and it is a beautiful place. You have the weeping willows that's on both sides of the footpaths, and you can see the statues as well that line on either side. First with the human statues and then the animal ones.
Yin and I have reached the end of Sacred Passage, but don't worry, tomorrow we still have some amazing things to see. I'm going to be able to show Yin and you guys the Forbidden City where I've been when I was a little kid. But first, let's get some Beijing duck for dinner. Since we're in Beijing, there's one dish that we have to try. Right now we're at a restaurant called Te, which is apparently the birthplace of the Peking duck. 200 years of Peking duck goodness. As you can see, they've also got some live shows here performing as well. Come on, let's go get some duck. You're gonna place the pancake on first, dip in some plum sauce, then you can put on the cucumbers and spring onions, and now you're ready to chuck on the fatty piece of duck. It's pretty good, a little bit oilier than I'm used to, and it's got a nice blend of sweetness in the meat. I think I gotta say that New Zealand makes pretty good Peking duck, especially Sunworld, our local Peking duck joint. The terms of quality between the Beijing one and the Sunworld one, I might even prefer the New Zealand one, just that little bit more. Yo, what's up everybody? Day 2 here in Beijing, and we're starting things off here in Tiananmen Square. Right behind me is Mao's Mausoleum. Free entry, but it's only open from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. and the queue for the place stretches and fills this entire square. So you gotta wait about 3 hours before you can even go inside. This is the gate to the old Imperial City. We're gonna take a walk through this entire part before we head over to the Forbidden City. Right behind me is the Great People's Hall, which is also featured on the 100 RMB note. It is generally a place for government officials to have banquets and entertain foreign government. And over on the other side, we've got the Beijing National Museum. Right over there. The giant picture of Mao Zedong is the entranceway into the Imperial City. And once you get into the Imperial City, you can go into the Forbidden City, which is where all the royalty stayed at. I was 3 years old when I visited the place first time around, and I don't really remember much of it, so it would be awesome to get a refresher back in there. It's the largest imperial city in the world.
If you're looking for signs, it's been renamed to the Palace Museum. There's 150,000 people that passes through here daily. It is incredible. There's 8,704 rooms. Entry tickets are only 60 yuan.
This complex is absolutely massive. There are so many buildings everywhere you look. Right behind me is the main ceremonial area, and we haven't even been to the complexes where all the emperors lived. There were 2 dynasties that reigned here, Ming and Qing, and all 24 emperors lived here, with the last one being Emperor Puyi, which there's a movie about called The Last Emperor.
Just managed to catch a glimpse of the throne.
Behind me is the highest ranking building. This is the Supreme Hall. This is where the Emperor would sit and anoint generals and things like that. The level of importance of this building is told by the amount of little animals on the edge of the building, and other lesser important buildings have less animals. As the Emperor nears his death, he leaves a will with his enthroned next of kin. He doesn't ever say who it's going to be in case some of the brothers of that person or cousins try and murder him. So behind me over there is where he keeps his will, where that last name is written. These emperors had a room for everything, whether it's a room for their special boxes or another room for weddings, or just a single room just for their throne. It's crazy how massive this place is.
Currently in the garden, and the entire Forbidden City is 720,000 square meters. For a size comparison, the Vatican is 440,000 square meters.
The amount of buildings that were originally in this entire palace was said to have been 9,999.5. You can't put 10,000 buildings because that's the number of the gods.
And that wraps up 2 of the most spectacular sights that you'll ever see here in China.
We managed to spend 2 days here ticking off massive 2 bucket list items. So if you guys have enjoyed this episode, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button.
Leave us a comment. We really love hearing from you guys, and a huge thank you to everyone who watches and supports our channel. Lots of love from China.
See ya!
Bye.
Peter's found a millipede on the steps.
It's gonna get squashed otherwise.
We've passed a lot of these on the wall and they were all squished, so Peter wants to try and rescue one at least.
There you go. Stay safe, little fella.